Good afternoon. Wish to call the Lee County Board of Commissioners to order. Thank you for showing up today. Full house. Do we need more chairs? Okay, none to say. Go ahead. We're going to start with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
God, we come to you, Lord, just asking, Lord, for your wisdom in your words, everything we do, Lord. As part of our education boards here with us tonight, Lord, we'd ask us, each board here that represents our county and our town and our country and our state, Lord, just for wisdom and guidance through everything that we do. Father, we just ask for protection. Bless Israel, Lord, through everything. We love and praise you, give you glory tonight, and we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You have your agenda in front of you. I do need for you to add Roman numeral 3 for proclamation. This is Black History Month, and we do have a proclamation. Is there any additional items to add to the agenda? Seeing there are none, can I have a motion to approve the agendas? Motion's been made to approve the agenda as presented, as modified with additional Roman numeral 3 for the proclamation. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any any opposed? Thank you. My screen dropped. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Motion's been made to approve the consent agenda as submitted. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next item on the agenda is proclamation recognizing Black History Month. Commissioner Vorbeck.
Proclamation recognizing Black History Month. Whereas each February we celebrate Black History Month in order to recognize the contributions of African Americans who developed the legacy of our local, state, and national governments, as well as our communities. And whereas Black History Month grew out of the establishment in 1926 of Negro History Week by Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, celebrating the birthday of leading abolitionist Frederick Douglass. And whereas North Carolina cooperated in the early celebration through the state's Department of Education, and in 1976, President Gerald Ford recognized Black History Month as a national celebration in conjunction with the nation's bicentennial. And whereas Lee County celebrate the contributions of our early trailblazers, such as A.L. Link Boykin, noted leader and building contractor, and William B. Wicker, noted educator and community leader, to name a few. And whereas Lee County cherishes the fact that our state's leadership includes Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson and House Minority Leader Robert T. Reeves II. And whereas our community recognizes the leadership of Sanford City Council members Mark Akinosho, James Williams, and Byron Buckles, as well as those before them. The county includes the former Vice Chair Ricky Frazier and current board member Robert Reeves Sr., not to forget the number of unnamed city and county employees who contribute their services to our citizens each and every day. And whereas Lee County recognizes the too numerous to name members of our county who contribute immensely to our economic, cultural, and spiritual development, and whereas the observance of Black History Month calls our community's attention to the continued need to champion equality and to build a society that lives up to our nation's ideals. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Lee County Board of Commissioners proclaim February 2023 as Black History Month in Lee County, North Carolina, and encourage its observance upon all citizens.
Do I have a motion to approve the proclamation?
So moved.
Motion's been made to approve the proclamation recognizing Black History Month as read. Any further discussion?
You have to have a correction made.
Yes, sir.
Representative Reeves is not minority leader, he's Democratic leader.
in the House. We'll make that change. Any further discussion?
It'd been nice had I seen this before.
Seeing there is none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Moving on to public comments. We have two individuals who wish to speak. I have Mr. Jay Delaney. If you would come forward, sir, you do have 3 minutes to speak. I would ask that you address for the clerk's record, your name and your address, please.
Thank you, Mr.
Are
Chairman.
you ready, madam?
For the record, it's Jay Delancey.
I'm
And,
sorry.
Did it again? All right.
Season.
About a year and a half ago, we moved to Fayetteville. We escaped Wake County. I'll leave it at that. Very happy to be in Sanford, and we pitched in. I live at 296 Fairway Lane, per your request. And about a year and a half ago, we pitched in with a church startup that was starting in Sanford called Christ Church Sanford. And we're currently meeting in a temporary facility that we rent, and we have to set up our equipment each week. And so we started looking around for property, and I'd heard of the rules about not having churches in the downtown area, even though we wanted it. You know, we originally wanted it there. And then I was very happy to see in Sunday's paper that you're considering a motion tonight to change that from the UDO and to allow churches in the business district in Sanford. And I just want to say thank you. I hope you'll vote the right way on that. It's religious freedom is bedrock to our First Amendment, and I'm just so glad that you're considering this, and just ask that you please support that and do allow churches anywhere in Sanford. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next individual is Ariana Lavallee, former vice chair.
Hello, Commissioners. Ariana Lavallee. I live at 1806 Brandon Circle. This is a quote from the previous board meeting. Quote, "Everybody's coming up to me saying, 'Oh, you got people on your board voting theirselves and their church $500,000 over 3 years.' And I have to say, well, you're right. Yes, we did do that." End quote. I'm here to set the record straight about this false statement that was made by a sitting commissioner at the last board meeting. Whether individuals made such comments to this commissioner, or if these allegations are fabricated, the truthful response is no, that did not happen. Commissioner Carver and I did not, and do not, receive any kickbacks from the results of the vote. In no way have we, nor will we, receive any type of payment from Life Springs Church or the Dream Center. We were never promised any type of compensation in order to vote for the Dream Center's funding. Our votes were specifically geared towards a nonprofit that will help the Lee County community. I personally volunteer at Life Springs Church as a children's ministry teacher, but am no way reimbursed or compensated for my time. I also tithe and give to the church with no expectation of monetary return. This false, unwarranted attack was made in poor taste and could very well be damaging to my personal and professional reputation, as well as the church's reputation in the community. This commissioner also implied that not recusing ourselves from this vote was unethical. This is also false. There's no conflict of interest whatsoever between the Dream Center or Life Springs Church and any of the commissioners. These same commissioners are free to attend any church and practice their faith without persecution from a government entity. There's no requirement or recommendation that commissioners should attempt to recuse ourselves from a vote, as defined by the General Voting Statutes, Section 153A-44, which states, quote, "The board may excuse a member from voting, but only upon questions involving the member's own financial interests or official conduct, or on matters in which the member is prohibited from voting under General Statute 14-234 or General Statute 160-109, end quote, of which neither of these are applicable in this situation. This commissioner made false statements implying wrongdoing that could put the Board of Commissioners and himself at risk of being held liable for damages to the churches, the Dream Center, and my reputation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next item on the agenda is the Bob E. Hales roof replacement.
Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, we have before you tonight the request to approve the bid award for the Bob E. Hales Center located at 147 McKeever Street, Sanford. It is in the need of a roof replacement. The bid opening was held on January 19, 2023 at the Summit Building with 4 bids being submitted. Owings Roofing was identified as the lowest responsible bidder, submitting bid totaling $326,124, which included the base bid for the project of $183,409, alternate number 1 at $137,902, alternate number 2, $2,831, and alternate number 3 for $1,982. We request approval of the bid from Owens Roofing and the enclosed contract to be signed.
Any questions for Mr. Waters?
Move to approve.
Motion's been made to approve the bid request for Owens Roofing in the amount of $326,124,000 for the Bob E. Hales Center roof replacement project, that the chairman be authorized to sign the contract. No further questions? No comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. I noticed your assistant is dressed very astutely back there. He moved up from soil and water and moved into a suit. I'm impressed. Under new business, Lee County Board of Education Chair wishes to address the Board of Commissioners regarding the school calendar. Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. And before Andre makes the comment, I am standing up. More importantly, today, I'm here to talk about the school calendars and the changes that we intend to make, and he's going to put up some slides for you. For a little background for people who don't understand what we're discussing here today, in all of the United States of America, there are only, at least in our state, I'm sorry, in the state of North Carolina, there's only 14 schools that require when schools open, and there are only 2 counties that require when schools must close. And that's what we're here to discuss today. The slides he's getting ready to present to you, and if he doesn't have those, I will be more than glad to provide copies as well. It will show you the Lee County Schools performance and growth scores in the traditional and middle high schools. And I would like for him to be able to put those up here in just a second. So I want to thank you first for allowing me time, because I know all you guys are busy and you got a lot of things on your calendar. But this is very important to me because it's near and dear to everyone sitting in this room, and that is our children of Lee County. If I told you that I could tell you a way that you could help our families, our students, and our teachers and increase the economy in Lee County without costing taxpayers dollars, I think you'd be more apt to listen to me. This is very simple. This is a legislation that the law has done, and they have required certain start and end dates for the schools. It is not the same thing that is required of charter schools and surrounding schools. And who does it impact the most? It impacts our low-income families and minorities in Lee County. The rationale behind the calendar change, what we actually did was we had a committee, and I wanted to make sure you understood how this kind of works. We don't just wake up in the morning and say, let's change the calendar. We actually had a calendar committee, and we put in 38 stakeholders. Of those 38 stakeholders, there were various roles within the district and our community. More specifically, the number included teachers and parents and representatives from all of our 17 schools, as well as individuals from our finance, child nutrition, and transportation department. The committee met twice, and each member of the committee sought feedback from their respective schools, departments, and parental organizations. Additionally, the committee discussed draft calendars. We went through 3 different calendars, and they were all sent to the Human Resources, Student Services, Exceptional Children, Testing and Accountability, Career and Technical Education, and English as a Second Language, and to all the school principals. Once they had their meeting, it came back to say, you know, we like this particular calendar. The calendar was called Calendar C. I have all the calendars that I can present to your county commissioner, your chair today. But the bottom line is this. The only thing, we're not asking you to do anything. We're not asking you to break a law. I clearly understand that this falls under the Lee County Board of Education and our board to make this decision in reference to the calendar. But what I would like for you to know and to be aware of is that in Lee County, these scores, if you can go to the first slide, you will see our middle school scores. Over the last 10 years, our schools have been declining. How does that affect economics? Anytime anybody gets online right now and looks up Lee County, you can go to schools.org. You see all these. These are things that people see when they're talking about moving into Lee County. These are the scores from East Lee Middle School. And the next one you will see is Sand Middle School. See the performances there? Now that I have provided these, hopefully they can put these online for people that may want to compare them as well. Now, if you go to the next slide, you will see Wesley Middle School, and the final slide, you will see our high school. Each one went down. What has changed in 10 years? When is the last time that we are allowed to have calendar flexibility? It should be a local decision. It should be our schools making that decision. That has not happened in 10 years. The only time that we were allowed to have calendar flexibility was during COVID. So then you ask, well, Sherry, what are you doing now? How are you trying to make a difference? Why have you not asked for a waiver? The only way you can get a waiver has to do with bad weather, if the power goes out, shortages, and if they miss more than 8 days per year, and it's during a 4 or 10-year span. The law is trying to do the right thing. As we speak today, I ended up late today because I'm busy with the House of Representatives. They are going to put out a law, or attempt to put a law forward. Neil Jackson and John Sauls are attempting to change this law where we go back to calendar flexibility. I know that there's some arguments throughout other counties, but in our particular county, we went so far as to do a survey, and our survey is showing at this time about 80% in preference of this calendar. Now, I'm not here to get your approval to do the calendar. What I'm here is to respectfully request that you at least look at the resolution that we've allowed, that I've sent forward to your chair, and I would like for you, and I'd like for the families in the communities as well, to reach out to the legislator and push for us to have calendar flexibility. The way it affects different people is different because they have different circumstances. The one that stood out in my mind the most, quite frankly, was feeding backpack for kids, and I had to go to a front porch of a minority, and the children were on the porch, and that was how they were contained and babysit while a student was going to take an exam. Now, the reasons that we have, and I just want to list a few so I can do my due diligence there so you realize where we're coming from. With the school law the way it is right now, it requires our students to take their tests before Christmas. Now, I asked you, Mr. Reeves, when it was Christmas break, did you want to pick up your books and go study? I don't think so.
I never did.
You never did. You were just that smart. Well, unfortunately, in our community, we have some as English as a second language, and they have a lot of obstacles to get through. Nobody wants to take a test, and that's right after Christmas. They don't go home. They don't study for that. And that's not even the main reason. When you talk about the calendar revision, there's multiple studies out there that will tell you that there is a learning loss after breaks. Well, then they would say, well, can you show me that learning loss? We only were allowed to do it for 1 year, and that was during COVID. But we also have this thing, there's an experience where the children experience this phenomenon where they have a loss of learning. That was why some schools now advocate to have year-round school. I'm not advocating that. I'm just explaining why we feel like that with their school schedule, with more flexibility, we would be able to meet the needs of the people in our community. We have over 900 students and family members that are associated with the military. When is the number one time that you have the highest stress in the military? When is the highest time that you have suicides in the military? It's during the summer. It's not Christmas. It's not post-deployment. It's during the summer because that's when they have PCS moves. Right now in Lee County, if you have a PCS move and you got a child that belongs to one school and one at another school, those calendars do not correlate with each other. It's better to have them lined up together. We have the law, the way it impacts is also we have advanced placement classes that are given on the same day nationwide. And the current calendar law shortens the amount of time that the Lee County students have to learn the materials before that exam. It actually gives them about 24 less days to be learning before they take that exam. The law does not align with our community college. It doesn't align with our universities. It makes it impossible for high school students who graduate early, let's say the end of the first semester, they would not be allowed to go ahead and enroll because the college courses start before, at the same time, the high school students are trying to finish their exam. And with a little flexibility there, we have very little that we can help with without going into unpopular days like spring break or going into Saturdays as makeup days. Nobody wants to go to school on Saturday. They're busy playing soccer. It also does not line up with our fall and our band programs. Since they do not coincide with a state-mandated calendar, what that means is we have some athletic events and band events that occur even before school begins. And something that's very vital to me as well is the improvement of teachers' morale. I remember teaching students at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and every time I had a PA student to come before me, when they took their national exams, if they did not pass, I would take that personal. And I'll challenge you that the teachers that we have in our schools, in Lee County Public Schools, when they have to come home and see a failing grade or something presented like I'm having to present to you today, it's disheartening to know how much time and effort they have put in without us giving them every single possibility to succeed. I want to remind you of one of the key things is that neither the charter schools nor the private schools are required to follow this law, and following the law will not impact the overall length of the summer. I would like to thank you for your time, and I'd also like to just end with this note. Again, our board is directly focused on academic achievement and growth. And with that in mind, we will provide every available path for our students to succeed. You know, Warren Bennett said that management is about doing things right and leadership is about doing the right things. Stephen Covey says that management is about climbing the ladder fast, where leadership is concerned with whether the ladder is on the right wall. I would just like to say we are on the right wall, and now is the time. I respectfully request that the county commissioners adopt a similar resolution supporting local control of our school calendar. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Questions for Chairwoman Womack? Commissioner Carver?
No questions, Mayor.
Commissioner Lovick?
I was at your meeting when you suggested that, and it made me think when you talked about kids coming back after break like that. I can see that as a challenge. My question, are there any public schools already adopting a different schedule where they can take exams before?
Yes, sir. Union and 3 in Charlotte County, and there's some of them that back down for various reasons. Gaskin County, it's becoming more and more of a popular subject. But I'd also like to add that Lee County, we will not be waging on what other schools are doing. We are going to set the path, and we are moving forward. But thank you.
And the only way to get that is through
Yes,
through
sir.
a law change?
Yes, sir.
Boy, that's crazy.
But I do have legislators on our side. John Saws is actually working with Neil Jackson from the House of Representatives. I've had contact with Catherine Truitt. Believe it or not, she actually texts late in the night, and we have talked back and forth about the implications. But the bottom line is to do what is right for our children, sir.
And I know what you're talking about. I helped change with the Booster Club over here, and they have football games before the students are even in school. So I can see how several of this does make good sense.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Connect?
I think Senator Bergen is also supporting this.
Yes.
I think I asked her in our retreat, and I think that's something he's.
Well, what we have to do is the one that's going before the legislative now, they are now in assembly. That's where I've been in Raleigh. So they are going to try to do something which is maybe uniquely different. Instead of trying to change it throughout the entire state, if we can at least do a local bill. John Sauls has jumped on board with the other House of Representative, Neil Jackson, so that we can add Lee County to that as well. And that's a start. we're not even saying this is something that has to be permanent. I just know that we definitely need to do what's best for our children, and we need to support what our surveys and our community is telling us as well. But you're right, Jim Bergen is going to take care of it once it gets out of the House. Notoriously, if anybody's been watching this saga for so long, it will get through the House, but it doesn't pass through the Senate. And there's very obvious reasons for that because of who their stakeholders are, the tourist organizations and things like that. So that's where we stand right now. But Jim Bergen is supportive, and so is John Sauls. And Catherine Truitt, you know, she feels like she kind of has her hands tied. I believe she has to just tell us what the law says.
Commissioner Vorbeck.
I was just going to say thank you guys for doing this and putting the kids first, and it definitely makes a lot of sense to take exams and taking a break off and losing all the effort that they've put forth and the teachers have put forth and putting the kids in learning, and then them able to actually probably also have a little bit more enjoyable Christmas break, that they don't have exams and stuff looming when they come back. So could kind of be a morale booster for them as well.
Commissioner Reeves.
No, I had a very thorough explanation of where the board was going with this idea from Mr. Ladati, and I appreciate it, and I'm very supportive of it.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yeah, I'm thinking that some folks in Union County might have sued over this situation from the
That was a
tourism
very-
lottery parents, but let me finish.
Okay.
So I'm for it, but as long as it's not illegal, then yeah, I support it.
Okay. Well, Union County did, and I can tell you that it will go against a North Carolina statute. But I can also tell you it's not the first or the last time, hopefully, that Lee County has done this as well. A North Carolina statute, and I take this extremely serious so you understand where I'm coming from. I gave this country and everybody in this room 33 years of my life. I've taken that oath so many times. I truly believe I'm probably one of the only board members that memorized her oath. And I understand what that oath means. But it also starts with the Constitution. I, Sherilyn Womack, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. We start there. The Constitution clearly states that every child has a right to a sound, basic education. And for me to step over this cliff, I assure you, there's been long nights, there's been prayer and road trips and talking all the way through. But the bottom line is we must do what's right for our children.
Yeah, if it's good for the children and the teachers, then yeah, I support it.
Okay, I just want to make it clear that there's a probability it will violate the law if the law is not corrected and fixed by then. Any further questions?
Thank you.
Seeing there are no further questions, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Take care, please drive safely, wear your seatbelt, no speeding. Next item on the agenda is the tax lien advertisement for delinquent 2022 real property taxes. Mr. Brown?
Good evening, Chairman and staff. Tonight we come before you regarding the tax lien advertisement for delinquent 22 real property taxes. We ask that you order the tax collector to advertise the 22 delinquent taxes per General Statute 105-369A. The statute requires the tax collector to report the governing body unpaid real property taxes for the current fiscal year. The governing body must then order the tax collector to advertise the tax liens. A report of the 2022 real property tax liens was submitted to the clerk of the board and to the Board of County Commissioners on Wednesday, January 23rd, and is on file with the clerk to the board, and is also available for review on the County Commissioners webpage. The advertisements of tax liens will be published in the Sanford Herald no sooner than March 1st of 2023. The amount of the unpaid property taxes as of January 25th of 2023 was $2,251,406.21.
Questions for Mr. Brown? Commissioner Sharp?
No, sir.
Commissioner Reeves?
Move to accept the recommendation of the tax collector.
Motion's been made to accept the recommendation for the tax collector to advertise the 2021 delinquent real property taxes per North Carolina General Statute 105-369A. Questions, Commissioner Vorbeck?
Yes.
Commissioner Connect? Excuse me.
No questions, thank you.
No questions? Commissioner Carver?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to take that back. I do have a question.
Please do.
Did we ever address the, how the senior citizens could get tax relief? We talked about it before.
Now, the issue with Orange County, is that the one you're talking about, or just in general?
In
with
general.
Lee County? Yes, every year, January 1st through before June 1st, taxpayers who are elderly or 100% disabled, have to be, elderly would be defined as being 65 years of age or older, and the disabled part is 100% disabled. They can file application with our office. They also would need to, the total disabled would need to have a signed certificate from a doctor, so they can have that, and then they can submit those things to our office along with the application. Then they could get up to a 50% relief on their value of their home, up to 1 acre.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your question. Any further discussion? Motion's been made.
Isn't the Enrichment Center doing a thing about that as well? I feel like they were doing some. Okay, I was just gonna say, I think they're,
Mr. Davidson?
We do publicize it, Mike sends us
Yeah.
the information, we publicize it to our participants. And,
Yeah.
I think you came to do a special program, or one of your staff did.
Yes, we have been to the Enrichment Center in the past and done some programs.
okay.
We'd be glad to do another one if they so choose. We need to do it before June 1st.
Any further discussion? Questions? Alibi questions, anybody? Seeing there are none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next item on the agenda is the Planning Board recommendations for zoning text amendment to the Lee County Unified Development Ordinance. Amy is here.
Good evening, Commissioners and staff. A bit of background. Staff was directed by the Sanford City Council to prepare an amendment to the UDO to allow religious complexes or churches within the Central Business District CBD zoning classification. Now, the Central Business District exists only in the downtown area of Sanford, the Old Jonesboro area of Sanford, and the downtown area of Broadway. Lee County has no downtown area and no land zoned Central Business District. However, since the UDO is the local zoning ordinance for Sanford, Broadway, and Lee County, all three jurisdictions should consider this amendment for allowing religious complexes or churches within the Central Business District zoning classification and take action. Excuse me. This text amendment was approved by the Sanford City Council on October the 11th and the Broadway Board of Commissioners on December 19th. In summary, Lee County has no Central Business District zoning. However, since the UDO is the local zoning ordinance for Sanford, Broadway, and Lee County, the boards should take action on this item. Now, prior to proceeding with the consideration of the Planning Board recommendation, the Commissioners should acknowledge for the record whether or not anyone has a conflict of interest regarding the proposed UDO text amendment.
Does anybody have a current conflict of interest pursuant to 160D-109 in which they need to ask for recusal? Seeing there are none, continue on, please.
All right. Information regarding this item is provided on pages 96 through 102 of your agenda packet. The Planning Board met on January the 9th after the public hearing was held and recommended by a unanimous vote that the Commissioners approve the UDO's text amendment to allow religious complexes or churches in the Central Business District zoning classification. As a reminder, the Commissioners should make 2 votes regarding this matter. Sample motions are provided for your reference, but you're always welcome to draft a unique motion if preferred. Also, the Commissioners may acknowledge that the zoning map amendment is not consistent with the Plan San Lee Long Range Plan and still vote to approve the request. Are there any questions?
Questions for Amy? Commissioner Carver?
No questions.
Commissioner Lovick?
No question.
Commissioner Connect?
Me.
Commissioner Vorbeck?
No, sir.
Commissioner Reeves?
Did Broadway adopt this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do they have a central business district?
Yes, sir.
Any churches located within it now?
I believe there is one.
One.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sharp?
No.
Seeing there are no questions, do I have a motion to approve the statement and consistency with the Plan San Lee as it relates
So
to
moved.
the UDA? Motion's been made to approve a statement on consistency with the Plan San Lee as it relates to the UDO text amendment regarding churches in the downtown districts. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Could you tell me which of the motions we're approving?
The first one.
I'm sorry, the number one. I make a motion that the motion's been made to propose zoning map amendment is consistent with the Plan San Lee long-range plan because the central business district zoning classification is associated with the downtown designation, which lists civic organizations, public gathering spaces, and churches as civic-type land use associated for this area. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Then the third motion, second motion
Move
is
to
to.
approve. Motion, option number 1.
The motion's been made to approve that the commissioners approve the proposed UDO text amendment because it is reasonable and in the public interest, given that other types of assembly uses are allowed in the central business district zoning classification. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next item is a subdivision preliminary plat for Copper Ridge Estates. Thomas, good to see you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. And good to see you as well. So SMB Homes LLC is seeking approval of a preliminary plat to create a 20-lot major residential subdivision for single-family detached homes. The development, known as Copper Ridge Estates, is intended to be served by public water and private septic systems. The development will also include the extension of a proposed public roadway to be maintained by NCDOT. Most lots will be served with individual on-site septic systems. However, 4 lots, and those are lots 8, 9, 10, and 18, will be served by off-site septic systems connected by a dedicated supply line and associated 15-foot easements that shall run parallel to the new public street proposed. And forgive me, I believe this starts on page 107 of your packet. I did lay 11 by 17 site plans at each of your stations as well. A subdivision exception application has been submitted for the creation of these 4 non-conforming lots intended to serve the off-site septic systems. The proposed development also includes a mail kiosk and co-located bus stop along the new public street. The subdivision also includes a 3.59 acre common open space area with access along Farrell Road, and it should be noted that that same 3.59 acre area serves as off-site septic systems for a septic easement for the adjoining development of Copper Ridge East. The planning board met on January 9th and recommended that the Board of Commissioners approve the preliminary plat as submitted and to approve the subdivision exception requested by the applicant to allow for the creation of the 4 non-developable lots to be utilized for the septic systems. Topics of discussion among the planning board members included the functionality of the septic systems for lots 8, 9, 10, and 18. Mr. Hal Owen, a licensed North Carolina soil scientist, provided assurances to the board members that the systems design were functional and in compliance with state regulations on sanitary wastewater disposal. And to provide you with a little brief background with the subdivision site located within the Cape Fear Lee County watershed protected area, the site has been evaluated by a licensed soil scientist, as mentioned before, determined that there were the suitable soils were present for private individual septic systems. The preliminary soil investigative report is included in your agenda packet for reference as well. Lastly, if approved, the preliminary plat shall be valid for 2 years. DEQ approval will be required if the applicant disturbs an acre or more of land. NCDOT driveway permits will be required for all driveway connections to state-maintained roads. Public water must be installed and accepted for maintenance or a financial guarantee posted to ensure that installation of required improvements is done prior to the recording of the final plat. And public streets must be installed prior to the final plat being recorded, and the developer is responsible, of course, for dedicating those streets to NCDOT for maintenance. Stop for any questions you may have.
Questions for Thomas? Commissioner Carver?
Looking at the plat, I was trying to figure out this business about a non-building septic area.
Certainly.
So if I understand correctly, you're actually pumping the effluent from wherever the septic tank is over to where the...
Yes, sir. There are 15 18-foot easements. And if you would switch to, I think it's probably slide 3, 2 or 3. So there are easements that run on public property, or excuse me, private property that run all the way to these, and it flows downhill essentially. So for lots 8, 9, 10, and 18, they have easements that run along here and empty into those empty lots. And that's where the septic tanks are.
And who ends up owning those septic lots?
Those would be HOA maintained, so
HOA, okay,
they'd be privately maintained.
thank you.
Commissioner Levick.
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Connect.
Thank you.
Commissioner Vorbeck.
No, sir.
Commissioner Reeves.
How many public hearings did you have on this piece?
We were not required to have a public hearing since they are, the proposed subdivision complies with RA zoning, so they're not, there's no rezoning associated with it. It's allowed by right.
Did you
per the
receive
RA
any
zone.
complaints?
No, we have not had any
No
complaints.
concerns?
No, sir.
Any concerns by the public?
No, sir, no concerns. But as I mentioned before too, there's no state requirement for a public hearing, so we did not notify adjoining property owners. We simply aren't required to since it complies with the RA zoning.
No, sir, I understand what your point is. Mine is that people still complain even when they know the law.
Yes, sir, certainly.
All right.
Commissioner Sharp.
No, I don't have anything.
For the record, Commissioner Reeves, I had heard from some individuals that just concerned traffic, et cetera. But again, because it's not a rezoning, there was no public hearings required. And they knew this process, this project was on the books for quite a while.
DOT's still gonna look at
That
that
never
traffic.
stopped people from having concerns and complaints.
I understand,
All right,
absolutely.
all right.
Okay, I got you, so it'll be sold jointly. Gotcha. So I apologize. One clarification though for the question about ownership of those septic lots. They would be owned with the property owner. So if property owner owns lot 10, would also own lot 10S too. So their private property would be owned with that septic lot. My apologies, not the HOA.
And that person pays taxes on those too, I guess?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. Move to approve.
It's almost like a satellite yard,
I
basically.
got you.
Motion's been made to consider the Lee County Planning Board's recommendations regarding the major subdivision preliminary plat for Copper Ridge Estates. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the manager's monthly financial and sales report. Candace has got it today.
Good evening. In your agenda packet, you have the monthly financial report for December. Please remember that sales tax revenues run 3 months behind. Tax collections as a percentage of the budget are 3.26% behind where we were the same period last fiscal year. The targeted balance for expenditures for December is 50%. Several departments are over this target due to the inclusion of encumbrances. If encumbrances are excluded, juvenile detention, EMS, and human services nonprofits remain over the target. Juvenile detention is over due to the increased quantity and stay duration of juveniles in detention. EMS is over due to the capital purchase of CPR machines, and human services nonprofits are over due to the lump sum payment to the North Carolina Veterans Memorial. The October sales tax report is also attached, and we are 13.02% above the same period last fiscal year. Thank you.
Questions for Candace? Commissioner Sharp?
No, sir.
Commissioner Reeves?
No.
Commissioner Vorbeck?
No, sir.
Commissioner Connect?
Thank you.
No
Commissioner
questions.
Levick? Commissioner Carver?
None, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. County Manager's monthly report for January of 2023.
Yes, sir, we didn't have a second meeting in January, so the January, or I should say the December reports are in your packet for tonight. Just a couple of updates. First is on the indoor iron furnace meeting. We discussed it at the budget retreat, but the folks at home didn't get to hear lots of that discussion, but we did have a great meeting with the state, and they have put the ball in our court on trying to develop that property into a park. They're very interested in our participation because of the historical significance of the site and our ability locally to protect the property and the historic items that are on the site. So at this point, Don Kabaskets and Joseph Keel have been put in charge of that project. Mr. Keel's responsible for coordination with the state, and Mr. Kabaskets putting the plan together that is a sketch so that the state will understand kind of sort of what we're trying to do. So things are moving forward, but as usual with the state, it moves slowly. So this could take some time. I was asked how long I thought it would take to get a lease with the state, and I'm estimating 12 to 24 months. Lots of agencies that have to go through that to approve it. On our capital projects, sports complex moving along with the design. We're working on permitting so that we can get it out to bid. The library's design continues. Horton Pool, the construction is still on track to be open for Memorial Day, and things look good over there. Want to let the board know that at last month's meeting, you awarded some contracts that involve Temple Park Phase 2, and that should be getting started here within the next 30 days. And I also want to let the board know that I represented the board tonight. Mr. Smith was concerned that he may not be able to make it back from the airport for the DOT reception, so I volunteered and also represented the airport authority at that board because Chairman Carter Keller was out of town. So a huge crowd. There were over 60 people involved in the party with the DOT as they are touring Division 8 and looking at assets that they control. And it was a good discussion. I told them I had to leave very quickly afterwards so I could make it back on time, and I made it back 4 minutes to spare. So we have a great asset out there at the airport, and a lot of discussion about what's going on with US 1 and the bypass and the development that that's created. And so being noticed by a lot of people right now. And it's fun to talk about that. That's my report, sir.
Thank you, sir. Questions for the manager? Commissioner Sharp?
No, I don't have any.
Commissioner Reeves?
No.
Commissioner Vorbeck?
No, sir.
Commissioner Connect? Commissioner Levitt?
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Carver?
No questions.
All right, seeing that that is finished, commissioners' comments, we'll start with Commissioner Carver.
The staff and some of the commissioners have an opportunity to go to Washington DC here coming up in a few days for the National Association of Counties. And that National Association of Counties represents some 3,000 counties in the United States. So going there is a good privilege because it gets the attention of some of the legislators. And we will have the privilege of being able to talk to our federal legislative delegations, either the senators themselves or certainly their senior staff members. And one thing that I'm hoping is that if any of you have a specific comment or question that you'd like us to carry with us, I'd appreciate you giving it to me, and we'll try to get you an answer. Looking forward to it. I know there has recently been some questions about sometimes how commissioners, et cetera, board members take trips. It's been my experience that it's been very interesting, not only interesting, but helpful in being able to shape an understanding of how the feds and the state and the county interact as far as funding is concerned, especially with respect to grants and things. So we can multiply our effort, shall we say, by going up there and talking to the people that make a difference. Also, it's been my experience that each time we visit these offices, they're more than willing to saddle down and talk about whatever we want to talk about, and also expedite any requests that we might have in the areas of grants and things like that. So it's generally a profitable time, I think, for all of us to go. So again, I'd like to remind you that if you have anything that you'd like us to talk about, we'll be leaving here on this weekend. So if you could get it to me either by an email or phone or whatever, I'll be happy to pass your comments along. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Lovick.
Yes, as always, I like to thank the staff. You guys do a great job for us, making Lee County look good. Tonight, I'm gonna find it necessary, I've had some concerns. When I ran for office, I told people the way I was gonna vote on things, and there's been concerns about how I brought up a situation, and I'm gonna need to address that. First of all, I tell people, and I mean this, when I have time to pray for things, I answer to the good Lord first. Is it lawful second, and the people are third? And I have to say this to answer some for myself, and I tell people when I vote on something or I bring something up, if you have concerns, to address it with me. I'm more than willing to talk and address those things. So this was sent to me in a text, and I'm gonna try to address some of the questions or concerns that were in that very quickly. First of all, as most of you know, if you've gotten anywhere close to me at all, you know I don't like politics. I'm not a politician. I didn't run to be a politician for this county. So if you want me to be a politician, I'm not your person, okay? I love serving people, and that's what I'm here about. One of the concerns was, one of the comments I made in our open discussion about I brought it up as the Dream Center, which I apologize for that, and that's totally offbeat, but not following our nonprofit policy, and it was stated that was a blatant falsehood. About a year ago, during our nonprofit session, we had about a 5-hour meeting with nonprofits, and kind of toward the end of that discussion, we brought up to staff to direct them to, first of all, make sure any nonprofit that came before that is nonprofit eligible. So I think by directing that, I think we missed that mark on during that discussion of making sure, and I'm not gonna bring up in the past what organization, but any organization I think we brought up should be a nonprofit status. So hopefully that addresses that one. The second thing is I just told you I'm not a politician, not going to be. It's been brought up to my attention that the Democratic Party is pulling my strings. I've told the Democratic Party that I'm not married to anyone. I'm not married to either party. Let me give you some things on that. I voted for the heartbeat bill. We brought forth the discussion. I voted for the heartbeat bill. A lot of you call that Republican. I call it doing the right thing. I voted on the redistricting map. Don Kowalski brought 4 great maps. The Republican Party decided to bring other maps. I voted against that. You called that a Democratic move. I called it doing the right thing. And last but not least, the library. It was a vote 6-1. Myself was the only one that didn't think we should allow alcohol sales at our library. I don't know which party you want to call that one. I call it doing the right thing. And that's what I'm here for, is to do the right thing. It was brought to my attention, is God appreciated about my procrastination about when I pray about things, if I don't get the answer? It was brought up about that we get our agenda several days ahead of time, and we do. And in that agenda, under the recommendations, it was recommended for us to do our research, find out some answers, and bring it before a meeting later in December to vote on that. So I was not prepared for a vote that night, so I will, and my answer to that is, I think there's certain things that each one of you here, if you pray to the good Lord above, there's still answers that you still haven't received after 3 or 4 days. Daniel didn't get it for 21 days. So I'm no different. I try not to be a procrastinator, but do I think God gives me the answer every time in my time frame? Certainly not. Another thing brought up against my Christian faith was I was waffling in support of that. I was simply trying to do what the discussion was brought up about, to find out more information to prepare for a vote. The vote was called for. I voted in favor of it. I don't know exactly the waffling on that. As a Christian, talking about the waffling back and forth, says, does that actually compute to who I profess to be? And with that, I'm going to end with this. Jesus, when he went to the Samaritan woman at the well, he had a talk with her, and his disciples came up to him and said, what are you talking to her? And he told them plainly, he said, those of you without sin, cast the first stone. I mess up daily, folks. But I ask for forgiveness. And I don't think anybody else here or watching or anybody else can profess there'd be no rock throwing going on if you really would. And my last statement will be this, and I'm done. No one here, no one in this world, none of you died for me, none of you got nail-scarred hands. You don't get to judge me and my faith. And I will end it like that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Connect?
Good, thank you.
Commissioner Vorbeck?
No, sir.
Commissioner Reeves?
Dr. Crumpton, you should be able to pick your luggage out pretty easy when you're traveling. These colors here you got,
I didn't get one of those.
you might want to get one. You might want to get one. When is is the 23rd actually your final day?
No, sir, the 28th is my last day.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Don't ask him how many days he's left.
Commissioner Sharp?
14 working days.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm going to comment on the comments that were in public comments tonight by Ms. LaValle and her mentioning, didn't call me by name, but she was referring to me. And I just want to say that I did not say you should recuse yourself from the Life Springs vote because you're receiving compensation. I never said anything like that. You need to look at the film. You need to look at the YouTube or something, because I didn't say that. And it was my opinion that you should recuse yourself for transparency and public trust. There is such a thing called public trust. Sometimes some people don't know the meaning of that. And I never said that you and Mr. Carver did anything illegal, just that it appeared to be borderline unethical. As far as me fabricating anything, you need to try that on someone else, because I ain't fabricated anything. And if you would be so inclined to come after me legally, go for it and bring it on. I've lived my life like that, so I got friends that just bring it on. If I voted to support Life Springs Dream Center a month ago, but going forward, I will not be doing so after the threats and allegations from Ms. LaValle tonight. You got something to say, Mr. Carver? I seen you do some kind of body gesture over there.
Gentlemen.
I
To
didn't
my
think so.
recollection,
I didn't
it
think
was,
so.
I'm sorry, can I speak?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Okay. It was Ms. LaValle that made the comments tonight. It so happens that we were in the same event, shall we say, so she mentioned my name. I just got to let that rest there. I would really like to address the comments made by my partner over here. He and I have been on this board together for 2 years. It's been a real pleasure to get to know him, and I would suggest that as you look at his faith, it makes his character strong and makes him an excellent candidate for continuing on as a commissioner. And I just want to reinforce the idea that he's a man of principle, and it's been a pleasure serving with you.
Well, what about the person who questions his faith? It's on this board. What about that person? How you feel about that?
Okay.
I'm really
All right.
curious about
We'll
what.
move on.
I want to see Duke play.
All right,
Any
we got a
inquiring
basketball
minds
meeting.
wanna know?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, please.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say that I think we all have the right to take a position on faith, whatever we want.
I do too. So why should someone on this board question Commissioner Lovelace?
I'm not questioning him.
I didn't say you
I
did.
was trying to
said
support
someone
him.
did.
Commissioner Sharp, let me put this at ease.
Okay, go ahead.
Commissioner Levick, that was a private text between you and I. So
And
we'll leave it at that.
I hadn't brought this up, who it was.
Well, we've done, so we can discuss this afterwards. I'll continue on. We had a email from the Viewpoint hosted by Dennis Quaid on January 31st, and it was talking about a documentary television series focusing on Discover America, great places to live, visit, and start a business. Viewpoint is an educational documentary style, and I sent you all a brief email on that, what we discussed on Friday afternoon with Wendy Bryant and Kelly Ladati. And we participated in a phone call. I sent a copy of this to Mayor Salmon and talked to her this morning, and she said they were approached over a year ago by the same organization for the same program. And Kelly Miller went forth and did some research on that. And she's going to get back to me with some comments as far as their research is concerned. It really didn't provide them with a lot of positive feedback per se, because my last question, not my last question, but the last statement on here regarding, and I'll get it here. Excuse me. Well, Wendy made a basic comment that for the amount of money they're asking for us to help with this production, that they couldn't get that kind of advertisement on a national scale for, I believe, $25,000. But I'm going to be following up with him on Thursday as a phone call and sitting down with Wendy Bryant and Kelly Ladati to follow up on it. Hopefully we'll have some updates from the city on their research that they did on this particular company. With that, I have nothing further.
Move to adjourn.
Motion's been made to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you very much. We're now adjourned.